Walker. Welcome to my channel. I have 5 kiddos, 12, 10, 8, 6, and 3. And today I'm sharing an update of what we've kind of been doing over the summer. I do take about 2 months off because I believe in family time, summertime, and just catching up on things and doing all the planning and stuff. So there are days where during this whole entire planning time where we are continually working on the things that we needed to finish from the last year, which is fine. I know a lot of families and mommies, we do this. I just felt like, man, am I really doing a disservice to my kids for not sending them to private school, Montessori school, public school, or whatever. And I was talking to another mommy about this the other day when we were at like one of the kids' activities, and it was just like, man, you know, I used to do this and this and this and this and this for my older kid, and now for my youngest, she's just coloring with colored pencils. And I was just like, I just feel like, you know, almost like FOMO, but for my youngest child, like we could be doing this, the could haves, the would haves, the should haves. And then it was just nice to hear another mommy just also feel the same way, you know? And so I just want to encourage you as you're planning and starting out your school year that less is more, and that the education that, you know, you are giving all of your kids is totally worthwhile for them. And even for me, I have to remind myself quite frequently of the why. Why do I want to do this? I want to spend more family time together. I want to really, you know, dive into their interests and, you know, make learning fun and wonder. And, you know, I want it to be this joyous thing that we do as a family. And so when I started, we started school a week ago, and before I start school, this is so helpful that I don't even know who shared this on YouTube, but they talked about having a soft start versus just everyone starting on August 4th or what, that's when we started, but everyone's starting that one day. And so I started doing this where about 2 to 3 weeks before we actually start school, I have a soft start with my oldest, and then I do my second oldest, my third, and my fourth, and then of course the baby. So for Abigail, she's my 7th grader. I have a middle school, you guys, so cool. We spend about 3 to 4 days where, you know, I say, hey, you know, I write Post-it notes. This is what it means to do this work. Let me see if I have an example here. And this is what it means for it to be done. And then come show me when you're done. And so of course, when I'm talking, okay, here we go. So this is an example for her 7th grade work. I'm gonna do a video. And so it's like, read, you know, the 2 whole stories and answer the questions and do this and this and this and this, and then complete all the worksheets and look in your handbook for the assignments. So Timberdoodle for 7th grade, for Mazdas, they have all the assignments week by week, which is so incredibly helpful. And then I move on to the next student. And then, you know, it's nice because then they get that whole basically 3 to 4 days of sitting with mom and getting that routine kind of structure going. And you guys, when I was a parent helper, or like the reading parent, I don't remember the title, for my kiddos' school in Montessori, they were always like, okay, we're gonna do parent-teacher conferences in October because then we finally get the flow of the classroom. And it wasn't until I was homeschooling where I was like, yeah, wow, it really does take 3 to 5 weeks to establish some sort of routine, rhythm, and, you know, schedule. I don't like to use schedule, I like to use flow or rhythm. And, you know, I really find that true even now as we're starting our 5th year. I feel like every day has looked different for all the years that we've been homeschooling. And so I started Abigail, I started Ada, I started Samuel, and I started John Matthew. And with John Matthew, I actually started him when I started Abigail, but I only started doing like 1 to 2 works, then 3 to 4, then 5 to 6. And finally, when it was time to start him, I did the full week 1 plan with him. And I'll probably do a video on, you know, how I plan my weeks. Let me know in the comments if that's going to be helpful for you with how I do the online scheduler with Timberdoodle. You know, the other day when I was talking with my friend about, man, I just feel like my 5th kiddo's not getting what my first kiddo did. My first kiddo was, you know, doing all these sorts of things, you know, learning how to read, new letter sounds, could read a book by 4, and just all these things. And I'm like, man, she's just learning her colors. And it was it's I don't even know if anyone else feels this, just give me a heart down below to let me know you're in this boat too. Where I just was like, man, you know, I just feel like I'm just really not, you know, I wish I just had another me for my 3-year-old. And of course, if you know me, you know, see my stories on Instagram. Eden is like 5 children in one child. She runs this house. But I definitely started her this week on her stuff, and I've been just doing stuff here and there. I know she's 3. School is not going to be 2-3 hours for my 3-year-old, you guys. It's going to be cutting paper. It's going to be, the hand, doing things with your hand to get the pincher grip. I don't even know what it's called anymore because I've been so removed from all this, you guys. And just coloring, and then drawing and crafting and gluing, and there's those like, counting together. So now I figured, oh my word, she wants to be right next to me when I'm doing the lessons for all of the kids. And so what I've been doing this last week is just setting something up for her next to me. And so when we were doing math with John Matthew, well, I just gave her a couple blocks and we just started counting them together. Or we would do the colors in the math blocks. With Matthew, see, they have different color blocks and they're great. Love that curriculum. So anyway, so it's been going good. It has been, a struggle to kind of figure out all 5 kids. Again, this is my first year, homeschooling 5. And I'm here for it. I want to do it for sure. And it's been kind of great because we started theater. Samuel's starting theater. He's going to be in a show this upcoming fall in about 7 to 8 weeks. And I don't know if I've shared this before with you guys. He suffers with tics. He isn't diagnosed with Tourette's. He doesn't have a verbal tic. He has nonverbal tics. And I've just been noticing with 3rd grade, things get kind of harder for 3rd grade with the introduction of Mazdas for 3rd grade. This is not 3rd grade, this is 7th grade. And just the different works, the level is a little bit different, that Timberdoodle kind of puts together for 3rd grade. And there is that, challenge for them and focus, and I don't know if it's just because he's that, from 8 to 9, I know that there's like that brain shift or whatever. And so I've been having to really reassess, like, hey, I can hand something broken to my 8-year-old and he can fix it. I can give him, a 3,700 piece Lego and he can build it in 1.5 months. He did that when he was 5. And then, or just, literally copying words from a piece of paper will take him about 35 minutes to do. So something that would take me 2 minutes takes him forever. And so I don't, it's been a real challenge for me. And so again, with like my oldest did this and this and this, my second oldest did the same things. Samuel, does he have to do the same thing? So that's the kind of boat that I'm in, and really learning that my children have different learning styles has been quite a challenge for me because I have these really high expectations. I don't know if I have any other Indian viewers on here, but my dad, for fun, gave me math problems when he would go to work, and my parents were like, go read a book. That's fun. Go do schoolwork. That was your fun thing that you did. And so, maybe, my non-Indian friends' parents did that too. However, I feel like my version of fun is like, here, come here, let's read a book together. Let's do multiplication. So it's, I have really high expectations for my kiddos when it comes to schoolwork and what I want them to learn. And I'm sure like you guys do too. But I'm having to reassess for, what we're working through with Samuel. We did a heavy metal detox. We met with our doctors back in Seattle, our doctor back in Seattle. So we did a heavy metal detox for him. We are giving him some plant-derived thing that is like serotonin just to help kind of calm him, because when he's overstimulated, it was every 2 to 3 seconds, and it was really bad. He couldn't even pick up a pencil before, and write something down before he had to do a tick before that, which I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it's like having to itch something and then you're just, if someone's like, don't do that, then it just is like, oh my word, I have this itch. Or, you were in a car for 12 hours and you need to get out and do that stretch. And, it's like, you can't do the stretch, right? So he has to be able to do the stretch. And so it's been quite interesting. So this show in the fall is going to be super fun for all 3 of my kids to do. All 5 kids are starting dance. Little baby Eden, you guys, she loves her leotards. That's all she's been wearing all day, every day. And she went to church with her tights on and wanted to wear a leotard. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. We're just, go ahead, Eden, live your life. You do you, boo. And so John Matthew's doing tap and tumbling, and this poor guy, you guys, he he was all excited, like, yes, I get to do this fun thing. It's gonna be great. And then we went to go buy the shoes. They didn't have his size. So when he was in class, he couldn't hear the tap. And then he was like, Mama, Brandon came out of the class. He looked like he was just about to bawl his eyes out. And I was like, honey, what's the matter? He's like, I couldn't hear my tap. I couldn't hear my shoes. And I was just like, oh my goodness, yeah, of course you're wearing tennis shoes. And then in the car, he was like, Mama, I was not a good listener. And I was like, well, thanks for telling me. Why? What happened? He's like, well, I couldn't hear the tap. So I didn't stand up and do it because I couldn't hear the tap. So I just sat there. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. I get, but next time, please actually do it. You don't hear the tap. But I get it. As a 6-year-old, why would you, if it's not working, obviously you're frustrated, whatever. However, anyway, so he started, he's like, it was kind of fun, but not really. And the problem will be fixed once he gets his tap shoes. And then Samuel starts in a couple days with my other 2 girlies. And he is taking hip hop and he's taking some other class. Oh, a tumbling class. So he's super excited for that. He can't wait he thinks he's going to be able to do all his Bollywood moves or whatever with like kicking, like the Natu Natu song. I don't know if you guys know that from the movie RRR. He thinks he's gonna bust out all those moves in his hip hop and tumbling class. And I was like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do Bollywood moves in your class. But anyway, the kids are doing great. We're getting into our new rhythm. Our current read aloud is the Oliver Twist book that we're doing because our theater company, they're doing that show in December. It's gonna be such a great one. So we're trying to, finish that whole entire book. In the summer, we took a trip to Seattle to see family, and my niece graduated, and it was just so great to just be able to breathe fresh air rather than this Houston air, and not have to sneeze and have allergies constantly here. And it was just amazing to see family. The kids loved it. We did a road trip and we had all these plans. We were gonna go, all the way, and we were gonna see the Grand Canyon. We were gonna see Yellowstone. We were gonna, go to California, then through and then finally my daughter, she got into the show Prince of Egypt, and we were like, man, we can't go for a month and a half like we wanted to. So it was just a 2-week trip, and it was really nice. And planning, normally I like deep clean things. I have videos on like where I have everything organized and all that good stuff, and I wasn't able to do any of that. It was wild because we were just so busy in the summer. We had my kiddo, they were in camps, and then Abigail did 2 shows, and we were just so incredibly busy. It was nice to take a little, take a step back and have some time off for myself before I started the school year. So I'm gonna have some videos coming up about just the different curriculum we're using, how I'm organizing their work, and let me know down below what's kind of helpful for you guys to see. I have a 7th, 5th, 3rd, 1st grade and preschooler, and I have those curriculum videos that I posted a couple months ago. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.